Hello and welcome back to Katawa Shoujo episode Emmy's Route. And we are about to do the festival. And it's gonna be pretty cool with Emmy. I wonder, I'm kinda hungry, but I made this deal that I'd try to take better care of myself. Be healthier, you know? Don't know if I should steer clear of the takoyaki or head straight in. I mean, you're not gonna start till tomorrow. You could probably eat some of it, maybe. I would. I've never had takoyaki, but it's seafood, and I like seafood. Deal. Sounds ominous. So what are you getting in return? Pussy. Nothing, I guess. It's not that kind of deal. You know, Emmy, from our year, we kinda agreed to watch each other's backs and... Ah! The shrill scream and the expression of abject terror in Kenji's face chill my blood. It's as if I told a Catholic priest I sold my soul to the devil. I mean, to him, you did. Her? You sold your soul to the devil and didn't get anything in return? What the hell's wrong with you, man? Do you know who you're dealing with? She's a public health danger. Do you know how many people she sends to the hospital monthly with her carefully placed flying tackles? She's one of them, a key player in the vast conspiracy that aims for the complete submission of everything that is manly. I can't believe what I'm hearing. I trusted your judgment, man. I thought we were brothers. You have to call it off before it's too late. This festival, too. It's just one of their ploys. He fingers his scarf nervously and faster, like he is trying to start a fire, then slowly begins to calm down once the panic attack finishes running its course. I'm going to have to find some place to hide in, a safe haven, then knock the lights out of myself so that I don't have to experience this horrible day. It's kind of unsettling, and now I start to feel doubtful myself. Should I bother going? I've got a book I've been meaning to read. Something about an underground postal system that may or may not exist. It's short too. I could have finished it in a day. But would that be a good way to spend my time? Oh, yeah, it definitely would be. But I suppose that it would probably be a better idea to head outside. See the festival. Try to integrate with all of the other sideshow acts. Good Lord, Hisao. Back to your old antics. Feeling so sorry for yourself. Honestly, I should at least make an attempt to keep up the somewhat friendly personality I've had the past week. Maybe get something to eat, my stomach suggests. It's almost lunchtime. I could at least grab something from one of the stalls outside. Rah 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 rah. I'm soon outside, surrounded by various students and people who may or may not be their parents. Every so often I catch a glimpse of someone who clearly, I feel like I've read this. I guess I haven't. Who came to town for the promise of a festival. They're easy to spot. The ones who can't stop staring, and behind their eyes you can tell they're thinking, now what's wrong with this one? I almost want to yell at them. At the same time, can I deny that I've been doing the same thing all week? A wave of something like disgust sweeps over me, guilt for my own narrow-mindedness. I feel like I've definitely read this before. I push the thoughts aside, concentrating on the pangs of hunger that burn my guts like wildfire. The scent of something fried leads me to the promised land where I can get some lunch. I'm getting my order when a loud voice interrupts me. Hey, what the hell are you doing? Having lunch? Breakfast? You mean you just got up? Suddenly sleeping all morning feels like a crime. No, I meant lunch. Honest. She's not buying it. Brunch? That's not a healthy breakfast at all. She snatches my food out of my hand and glares at me. What the hell is this girl doing? Athletes eat fried food? Hey, that's my breakfast.
What happened to it being your lunch?
That's my... whatever, it's my food! Emmy places her hands on my hips and begins lecturing. Oh, her hands on her hips, not my hips. I'm just like, oh, we already in it. We already in it. But I've just misread. Or maybe it was a Freudian slip.
Did you really forget your dietary plan already? You need to be more conscious of your healthy Sal. What about your heart?
My heart's fine the way it is. Except for, the fact that it isn't. All I get in response is a roll of the eyes.
I doubt that. You wouldn't be here if that was the case, would you?
The girl's got a point, of course. But I'm not about to concede it. It's not that bad of a heart, it's average. It's an average heart. Certainly it can handle a little grease now and again. Yeah, sure, and it handled a little running just fine too. Emmy seems unconvinced. I mean, you eated stuff in the other routes and you were fine. Not surprising, as I haven't even managed to convince myself.
Maybe, but not if you're sleeping the day away all the time.
Devious look suddenly crosses her face.
Of course, if you'd been following a routine from the beginning, you wouldn't be in this situation.
Hey, I've had a pretty eventful week, For example, I almost died, and there was a lot of meeting people, and then I was on a roof for a while.
Which is no excuse for slacking off, A little near-death experience is no excuse for skipping basic exercise.
Oh, okay, Emmy. I would think it's a pretty valid excuse, honestly.
Like running in the mornings.
She nods as if something important had just been decided.
So it's settled then. You've seen the error of your ways and are willing to adhere to my routine, right? I'll see you bright and early in the morning. We'll be running buddies.
You already convinced me yesterday this was a good idea. You don't need to convince me again. Not that I did a good job of being convinced. She's right about eating healthy after all, and here I am ordering up something grossly unhealthy. But delicious. I was gonna say, but it's deliciable. There are more important things than deliciousness, aren't there? No. Like staying alive?
No. I crave deliciousness.
If Emmy weren't here browbeating me for my poor decisions, I'd probably... Hey, wait a second. A sudden question springs to mind. Hey, why the hell have you taken such an interest in my well-being? Emmy shrugs and grins at me.
You're the new guy. I figure you don't have any friends yet, right? Besides, I've caused you trouble all week, right? I owe you for not getting angry. And I told the nurse I would anyway.
Huh. Crazy little running girl wants to make me healthy. Well, I suppose there are worse fates. Okay, that sounds fine. Thanks for your concern. Tomorrow morning, then? Now give me back my food. I'm eating it. I figure that ends the conversation, so I turn to leave.
Not so fast.
I feel a hand on my collar, and in a second I've been yanked backwards. Hey, no need to be so rough. Yeah, save it for later. Jeez. What do you want now? Emmy looks almost wounded by my annoyed question.
I thought you could use the company.
Her eyes narrow.
Besides, you were just going to try sneaking some more of that fried crap, weren't you?
Well, I wasn't going to, but now that she mentions it, that would have probably been a really good idea. I was not! Another glare. Okay, maybe I was going to get a little. The glare continues. Okay, a lot. Jesus, I'm a danger to myself and others, aren't I? I get done agreeing and I need to be healthier, and then immediately start considering the next unhealthy habit that comes my way.
I knew it. You can't be trusted. Now I definitely have to stick with you.
This whole situation feels silly. I can only imagine what passerby think of the sight of me being lectured by a tiny girl half my size. Maybe I should just give up for now. Fine. Do what you like. Might as well make the best of this. What do you want? What do you want to do? Emmy thinks for a minute.
Well, I promised Rin I'd stop by her mural. So let's do that.
I confess I'm slightly curious as to how her mural turned out myself. So again, I consider there are worse fates. I give a nod of assent and find myself almost dragged bodily through the crowd as Emmy races to our destination. By the time we reach the dorms, I can feel my heart pounding. My heart shouldn't be pounding after just that. I take a few deep breaths, willing myself to calm down. I'm one of the most normal-looking people in the school, but I still have to be here. Sometimes I'd almost wished I'd lost a hand or something. At least then it'd be obvious that I belong. But instead, I don't even look sick. Even now, trying to catch my breath, I just look out of shape. I mean, there's also like deaf kids and blind kids that don't look, quote, sick. Emmy looks back and notices my state of distress.
You're not going to die on me, are you? Please don't. It'll be all my fault, and I don't want to deal with that kind of guilt. Besides, after the last time, I really don't think I need to see that again. Especially because the nurse will totally say it's all my fault, and it totally will be because I'm definitely making you run through all this stuff even though you have a bad heart.
Nah, I'm fine. Guess I need to start running after all.
And you wanted to keep eating your greasy whatever it was.
He already paid for it. You should have at least let him eat it.
See, it's a good thing I found you, right?
Yes, it was. Maybe. Soon. Of course, I don't add that I wouldn't be in this state if she hadn't dragged me across the festival grounds. Further conversation is interrupted by the sudden appearance of Rin. Oh, it's you. Hello, Emmy.
Hey, Rin. I brought Isao along because he was going to give himself a heart attack.
I was not. My objection goes unnoticed.
We stopped by to see how the mural turned out.
Rin nods slowly. Well, it's right there. You can see it pretty clearly. I find myself wondering how long Rin's been standing here in front of the mural. Has anyone even stopped by to look at it? Are we the first ones? Obviously, we're not the first to see it, of course. I mean, it's pretty big. You'd be hard-pressed not to see it. At the same time, I don't think anyone's actually talked to Rin about it. Anyone but us, that is. I feel compelled to say something. It looks pretty good. I'm still not happy with how it turned out. Ah, artists. But I guess it'll do. She seems almost resigned to it. I'm not sure what she expected as a result, but I guess she didn't quite get there. We stand in front of the mural, taking it all in. I try my best to concentrate on the composition of the thing. It's actually fairly interesting. The colors swoop and blend together, dragging me along with them. There's a dreamlike quality to the whole thing that makes me almost feel sleepy. Try hunting out some of the colors Emmy and I grab. I try hunting out some of the colors Emmy and I grab for her. Try as I might, I can't see any Prussian blue. Oh well. I'm sure it's in there somewhere. Well, maybe it's used to mix. My feet start to hurt, but Rin doesn't seem inclined to move on. Emmy speaks up.
Hey, Rin, have you eaten?
Of course, you can't survive otherwise.
What about in the past 5 hours?
Maybe, but I'm hungry again, so maybe that means I'm wrong. Emmy grins and claps her hands together.
Good. Come get some food with us.
Rin nods in assent. Okay, but we should hurry before they notice I'm gone. Somehow I don't think they'd care, whoever they are. You don't know. In her route, she had to talk to the frickin' teacher guy, and then had to. Whatever, Hisao. I'm not conversating with you like this, 'cause I don't remember what I was saying. As we head back to the food stalls, I cast a longing eye over the fried food. I'd better not. Pretty sure Emmy wouldn't let me anyway. We find a nice spot on the grass and sit down to eat our purchases. Well, my purchases anyway. Somehow I've wound up paying for all the food. Surprisingly, my unfried, in parentheses, food is pretty good. Silence falls as Emmy and I eat, and Rin stares at something or other, occasionally eating a bite or two of her food. I finish my meal first and lay back on the grass. Emmy glances up from her food.
tired, Hisa?
A little, I guess.
Well, don't oversleep or anything tomorrow morning. We start our morning runs, remember?
Actually, they'd slipped my mind. I was actually just enjoying myself. Wandering around the festival with these two has actually been fun. Yeah, I'll set an alarm.
You better be there. I'll get angry if you aren't.
God forbid. I don't think God comes into it. Unless there's some kind of freak accident and your alarm clock shorts out. That might be a random act of God.
Well, don't cause any random acts of God then.
A plan forms itself in my mind. It's a plan that makes me feel kind of guilty, but I throw it into execution anyway. Damn it, I've earned a little fried food. And anyway, I'm going to start running tomorrow, right? So the actual routine all starts then, not now. Ergo, the dietary portion starts tomorrow too. Ergo, I can have something unhealthy today. A sort of final farewell to all the stuff I used to eat with wild abandon before the hospital. Actually, I suppose I should head back to my room. I had some homework to do, and if I'm going to run in the morning, I should make it an early night. Those narrowed eyes again.
You sure you're not just going to sneak off and buy some of that fried stuff over there?
Nah, I'm too full to bother now. I pat my stomach for emphasis. Besides, you two have cleaned me out anyway. Emmy giggles. It's a surprisingly pleasant sound. Another pang of guilt. The giggles. As opposed to the unpleasantly sounded giggles. She's got to know that I'm lying to her, doesn't she? Or is she just that trusting? I feel kind of like a monster.
All part of my master plan, Hisa. Well, I guess I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Thanks for the food and for keeping us company.
And here I thought she was doing me a favor. Rin nods in agreement. I won't say see you tomorrow because that would be like predicting the future, and I'm pretty sure I can't do that. Alright. Okay. Bye, you two. I feel oddly glad that I decided to leave my room today. Not a bad way to start my second week here, I suppose. Once I'm sure I'm out of Amy's line of sight, I make a beeline for the food stands and buy some cake. At least it's not fried, right? That's slightly better than what I was planning to do. I still feel a little bad about lying to Emmy, though. But not bad enough to not lie to Emmy and also not eat yummy, delicious cake. She really does seem concerned about my health. I'll make it up to her somehow. Well, you're going to be running with her every morning from now on until you die, probably. Better head back to my room. Hey, I do have work to do. My book awaits for me, and I flop onto my bed and read through the fireworks display. Eventually, all the walking around, or more accurately, running around, catches up with me. I really am out of shape. Emmy dragging me out in the morning to run might just be a good thing after all. It's something to look forward to.
There she goes. Run, Emmy. You can do it.
Hisao, yeah, don't try and catch up with her. No, Hisao, you're gonna die. Yeah, calm down. Slow down. Yeah,
Fool, what did you think was gonna happen?
she'll come back around. You gotta respect your own limits. You don't have a choice. You need help. You need to accept that. And there they go a walking. Aw. Oh, you helped her get an apple.
That was cute.
Why that angle? It didn't have to be that angle. Why do I have to look at her frickin' booty butt? My alarm's beeping shatters the early morning quiet, and I find myself wondering where to find the motivation to rise. Class is still quite far off, but I agreed to run with Emmy in the mornings. Really, I'm not that interested in running as a hobby, or even as a possible life-lengthening exercise. However, I feel obligated to follow through on my promise to Emmy yesterday, which is why I find myself throwing on some running shorts and a light t-shirt. The cool morning air caresses my face as the morning sunshine causes the dew on the grass to sparkle, nearly blinding me at first. As I make my way down to the track, an ugly thought strikes me. What if this is some sort of joke that Emmy's playing on me? Would that surprise me, really? Hell, I'd probably do it to the new guy too. At the very least, I'm sure Emmy and Ren would made a bet on whether or not I'd actually show up. I feel a sense of trepidation as the track comes into view.
You're late.
It would seem that Emmy is already there. What a relief. Not according to my watch. We both are early, in fact.
Damn, you got me there.
Emmy is sitting on the bleachers, decked out in running gear, waiting somewhat patiently for me. I'm glad you're actually here. I was afraid that this was a joke or something.
Nah, I never make someone get up early for nothing. Plus, Ren owes me 500 yen now. She didn't think you'd actually show up.
I knew it! Nice to know Emmy was on my side, at least. Emmy hops off the bleachers and begins stretching out. She's remarkably lithe, almost like a dancer. I set out to stretch as well, but then realized that I don't exactly remember how to stretch properly. It's been ages since I stretched for anything, if you don't count my one stint at running last week. And even then, I don't think I actually stretched beforehand. The specter of my long hospital stay rises up again. I can't say I was all that active before the hospital stay, though, so maybe I'm just being morose. Well, didn't you do soccer? Are we gonna pretend like you didn't? Emmy giggles as she watches me stretch out.
No, Hisao. You gotta hold it for longer than that.
I'm trying. It kinda hurts a little.
Ha! That's because you're out of shape. You've gotta get some flexibility in you, like this.
Well, you're not supposed to push it past it hurting you.
It's supposed to just be a little stretch. If it hurts, then you're doing it not good.
Not for stretching. You could pull something. To demonstrate, Emmy reaches down and puts her head through her legs. Well, she can do that, but she's in shape. God bless you, Emmy. I see. Is that the sort of thing I should strive for?
Of course. Flexibility is important for any runner. You'd be able to go faster the more you stretch out.
That makes no sense to me, but Emmy seems to believe it's true. With Emmy's help, I managed to stretch myself out properly. I can't help but notice that when she thinks about how to explain things to me, her mouth scrunches up in concentration. It's adorable.
Not bad, Hisao. Come on, we'd better start running. We'll start off with just a mile, okay? That's 4 laps around the track, got it?
That sounds fine to me. It shouldn't be too hard, right? A hazy memory of running a mile for gym class surfaces in my mind. Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Emmy sets a pretty good pace and I fall in behind her.
Try to keep up, okay, Hisao?
Roger. We round the first curve without incident, though I can already feel my heart rate increasing slightly. By the second curve, I've started to breathe through my mouth. Emmy doesn't even seem to be breaking a sweat. As if to punctuate her superiority, she turns around and starts running backwards.
Are you doing okay, Hisao?
Never better.
Oh, really? Maybe I should speed up then,
Oh, no. Wouldn't want you to overexert yourself. My heavy panting and wheezing makes the statement less convincing than I had hoped. Emmy simply smiles and turns around again.
You're the boss, Hisao. We'll stay at this pace.
I get the feeling that I'm being mocked. If I weren't in such terrible shape, I'd probably feel offended. By the third lap, my breath is coming in ragged gasps, and I'm awash in my own sweat. Gross. We round the curve to start our 4th lap, and Emmy looks back at me with a grin.
Here we go.
She takes off at blinding speed while I stubbornly stick to my slower pace.
You're not stubbornly sticking to it. You're supposed to be slower pace because it can hurt you. You could die, Hisao.
She takes off at a blinding speed. By the time I get to the first turn, she's already rounded the second. As I struggle across the backstretch, Emmy continues running and catches up to me.
Come on, Hisao, you can do it.
I'd answer her, but I'm too focused on getting air into my lungs and ignoring the burning in my leg muscles. Part of me wants to say something like, maybe you can, but I'm about to die here. But again, I doubt I can actually form words right now. Emmy keeps pace with me as I round the second turn and cross the finish line. Her sprint seems to have gotten her sweating. It's actually caused her shirt to turn slightly translucent. It seems she's wearing a black sports bra. I feel a vague stab of guilt for being the sort of guy who stares at a girl's chest, but my legs and chest are burning so badly I can't bring myself to care that much.
Not bad for your first effort, Hisao.
Kind of you to say so. Emmy seems to be, if not out of breath, at least breathing a little more heavily than she was when we started running. It must be the sprint that did it.
Hey, I've got to get a few sprints in. You should walk around the track to cool down. Then we can stretch out and we'll be all done, okay?
Sounds great. My legs are on fire and my breathing is still heavy, but surprisingly my heart seems to be taking the strain well. Another triumph of medical science, I suppose.
You should put your hands behind your head. It makes it easier to catch your breath.
Is that true? Surprisingly, she's right. I begin to stroll around the track, happy to feel my breath coming back to me. Hello! There's a blur as Emmy sprints by me. Watching her run is absolutely fascinating. It's not just because she's on prosthetics, though, that's interesting. The really interesting thing is the way her face changes. I can only catch glimpses of it as she runs by, but her eyes seem to come alive with a sort of fierce joy. It's as if there's nothing else in the world but her and the track. By the time I've gotten to the final stretch, Emmy seems to have finished her sprinting. She's breathing heavily now, but she's wearing a satisfied grin on her face. She waves to me cheerily as I near her.
Feeling better, right?
Actually, yeah.
Do you want to take another lap with me? I've got to cool down too, you know.
Part of me would rather sit down and not move, but something tells me that would be a bad idea. Besides, if I sit down, there may be no getting back up again. Sure, why not? Emmy's got her hands behind her head now as well, which makes her seem very relaxed. The positioning of her arms also pulls her shirt upwards ever so slightly so that I can see a small strip of her belly. I do my best to act the gentleman and not look, but the contrast of her skin against her red running shorts is rather arresting. What about her shirt? They're almost the same value.
So what do you feel, Hisao?
Surprisingly good, actually. I'm sore and tired, but surprisingly good. As soon as I say it, I realize that it's true. Sure, part of me wants to lay down and die, but I feel like I've accomplished something. It's almost like a glow throughout my body that persists despite the soreness.
Yeah, that's the runner's high.
I don't believe in the runner's high. I've never experienced anything. Anytime I have ever exercised, like hard, I just immediately want McDonald's and go to sleep. So, I just don't think it's real. I keep hearing about it, but I think it's just something that people made up to make them feel better about exercising. That's my conspiracy theory. Runner's high.
Yeah, it has something to do with adrenaline?
Emmy thinks for a moment as we walk, trying to remember. Then she shrugs and grins at me.
I don't actually remember. It's a good feeling though, isn't it? Better than sex, right?
How dare you? I'm a virgin. I'm a child of God, untouched by hands. I open my mouth to respond shortly before processing what she's just said. Ma'am, you can't talk like this. I'm a teenager. I'm 18, still a teenager. I can't think. I'm already struggling here, Emmy. You can't just say the sex word. I'm already, at attention from just the idea of you wearing a sports bra and seeing your tummy. Emmy watches my face for a few moments before bursting into laughter.
Sorry, I couldn't resist. You're just too easy.
Why did I agree to run with you again? Emmy just laughs harder. She takes a hold of my forearm and tilts it, allowing her to get a better view of my watch. Her face changes the moment she sees the time.
Oh no, we better get a move on, Hisao. Class is in an hour and I need to shower.
I should probably do that as well.
I need to see the nurse too. Maybe he'll write me a note for being late.
Why do you need to see the nurse? Amy points to her prosthetics as if that would explain everything.
It's important to check for irritation. From sweat or friction or anything. Normally I only go after practice, but if we're going to be doing these morning runs, then I guess I'll see him twice a day.
Wait, so Emmy has only started doing these runs since I showed up? If it's more convenient for you to run with me at a later time.
Don't be silly. I've been meaning to start running in the morning for a while now. But if I didn't have a partner to run with, I'd be less likely to keep up a routine. It's always harder to blow off a commitment if you're going to let someone else down. So you'll be my running partner in the mornings. We both need to exercise, so it works out, don't you think?
Yeah, perfect. Did it have to be me, though? Well, I guess I can't complain too much. Emmy's pretty fun to hang out with. And she's right, I do need the exercise. Doctor's orders, even.
Emmy waves a quick goodbye to me. Goodbye, Emmy. I'll see you, probably later today. Right, I'm off. Come have lunch with us, okay?
What?
Lunch, the meal in the middle of the day. Come have it with us.
Where?
The roof, dumbass. The rooftop. Red likes it up there.
When?
Lunchtime, dumbass. When else? That was a silly question.
Yeah, but I sort of felt the need to ask all three for completeness' sake. Emmy laughs and grins. I don't think I've ever seen a girl smile so much before. Secretly, she has depression.
Not bad, Hisao. See ya.
With that, she takes off like a shot for the school building. I guess she's going to see the nurse first. I hurry back to my room and hop in the shower, only to find that the water takes a while to heat up. The shock of the cold water nearly kills me. It looks like it's getting hot, so it's fine. I manage to warm the water a bit and spend some quality time feeling my muscles loosen. My heart, surprisingly, feels the least bothered by the run. I suppose that's a good thing, even if it does make me feel like a bit of a wuss. I mean, at least I have an excuse beyond I am out of shape if my heart were bothering me. Guess I'll have to keep this running thing up, otherwise I'm sure Emmy won't let me hear the end of it. It's only after I get out and dry myself off that I realize that I've only 10 minutes left to put my clothes on and get to class. Crap. You can do that. You just ran. I don't know how far away your class is, but if you jog, sprint, you might be able to get there in time. The hands on the clock finally set me free from the tedium of yet another fun-filled class. Getting up from my seat proves to be more of a problem than I anticipated. My legs are killing me from the morning's run. Maybe doing these with Emmy isn't such a hot idea after all. Still, the run's given me a hell of an appetite. I'm halfway down the hallway to the cafeteria when I remember that I've got my lunch with me. My parents saw fit to provide me with some packaged stuff when I moved in, and a good thing too. The hallway is packed with students headed for the cafeteria. Going back is like swimming upstream, but I've got an appointment to keep on the rooftop. It takes me a moment to find the staircase leading up to the rooftop, but I'm willing to bet that Emmy and Ren aren't up there by now anyway. In fact, I think I saw Emmy among the bodies in the hallway headed for the cafeteria. I step out of the door and to the roof and take a deep breath. The fresh air blowing against my face and body almost makes my legs hurt less. Maybe if I'm upside down. Part of me wants to be surprised that Ren's already up here. What's that going to accomplish? Things in the clouds. Couldn't you just look at them right side up? Ren rolls her eyes in something approaching exasperation. Then I wouldn't get a new perspective. Duh. Is upside down really a new perspective? I mean, yeah. Aha! That caught her off guard. Ren looks pensive. You may have a point. Maybe sideways. Ren lays down on the bench to look up at the sky. I give up. Fortunately, Emmy chooses that moment to burst through the door carrying 2 bags. She nearly takes the door off the hinges.
Sorry it took me so long. There were a ton of people in line.
She drops the first bag in front of Ren and takes a seat on the bench next to her. You buy Ren's lunch for her?
Sometimes, yeah. I'd have Rin buy my lunch for me in return, but I'm not sure how she'd carry it.
Plus, I'd never buy her lunch. If Ren's offended by Emmy's comment, she doesn't show it. Emmy sniffs.
How ungrateful of you.
I'm not sure whether the two are joking with one another or if I'm witnessing the beginning of a cat fight. The two girls stare at one another for a few tense moments before breaking into smiles. Hey, Emmy, do you think being upside down is a new perspective on things? Didn't I already have this conversation? Emmy looks thoughtful, apparently giving the question some thought, as one does when they look thoughtful. After a deep and profound pause, she speaks.
I have no idea.
Well, at least she is as lost as I am.
Hey, Hisao, you're coming to the track meet, right?
The question comes out of the blue and catches me off guard. I don't know yet?
Honestly, Hisao, after I went through all the trouble of letting you run with me in the morning, you won't even show up at my track meet?
Wasn't she the one that asked me to run with her? Actually, she didn't even give me a choice in the matter. Wait, no, I didn't say that. She beams at me as if I'd just agreed to give her $1 million.
So you will come after all? That's great.
I didn't say that either. I said I hadn't decided. What part of I don't know do you not get, child? I'll be going too, so I'll make sure he comes, Emmy. How? How are you gonna make me do anything? You gonna kick me there? You gonna just kick me all the way there? Drop kick me? You can't do that, Ren. You're lazy. Well, you're not lazy. You're just not athletic. You wouldn't do that. I don't think. I've been to your route. You're not the kicking type. That's too roughhousing. You're not a roughhouser. You're a softhouser. And you like oranges.
Good idea, Rin. Maybe we get some food or something after the meet's over.
I feel like I've been conned, but not by these two. More like by some outside force pushing me irrevocably towards my destiny. Or maybe I shouldn't read books that feature conspiracy theories so heavily. Otherwise I might wind up sounding like Kenji. Still, I suppose that I've got to show up now. I don't think that I could stand against both of them being disappointed. I'd never hear the end of it. When is it again?
Next week, silly. I just told you a few days ago.
Did you? No, you didn't.
I forgot? Well, you won't forget to come though, will you?
Of course I won't. I'll even make a note on a calendar or something. Rin nods sagely. That's probably a good idea, you know. Unless time changes its course.
It can do that?
Rin gives a non-committal shrug. It hasn't yet, but you never know. This time it's Emmy who gives a shrug.
I suppose it can't be helped if it happens.
Not unless you're a time traveler or something. You don't think that can happen, do you?
I don't think we do. Do we?
Rin shrugs again. It seems to be her default response to everything. I suppose not, but I reserve the right to change my opinion at a moment's notice. For Rin, this statement makes a disturbing amount of sense. And the fact that I realize this now frightens me a bit. I wonder if Emmy gets this feeling all the time. If she does, she's not showing it though. Emmy merely nods.
As expected.
What's that supposed to mean? This time it's Emmy who shrugs. It's like she's using Rin's own weapon against her.
Your response is the sort of thing I'd expect from you, that's all.
Am I really that predictable? Emmy's smile seems to border on gloating.
Nah, it's just that your unpredictability is pretty predictable.
Well, that's alright then. I don't get the chance to see whether Rin's being serious or not as the bell rings. She is. I didn't notice the lunch period slipping by at all. Hanging out with these two was far too interesting. Emmy jumps up, a look of panic on her face.
Oh no, I needed to stop by my room to pick up my notebook for the next class.
Don't you wish you had a time machine now? Rin seems rather smug as she delivers this line, like she'd just won an argument. Emmy ignores Rin's comment.
Sorry, Hisao, but could you make sure our garbage gets thrown away? I usually clean up myself, but I've got to run. You always have to run, Emmy. That's your archetype. You're a runner.
Sure, no problem. Emmy darts away with an urgency I'm starting to expect from her. I don't bother asking Rin why she couldn't help. She already seems to be preoccupied with something else entirely as she wanders off. She's probably used to Emmy taking care of cleanup, and for some reason I doubt Emmy's ever raised the issue with her. Cleaning up from lunch doesn't take long, so I have plenty of time to toss our garbage and get to class. Misha greets me with a wave and a devious grin as I walk through the door.
Didn't see you in the cafeteria, He-chan.
Yeah, I decided it was too crowded there. Misha's grin gets even wider.
Oh, really? Are you sure you weren't participating in an illicit rendezvous?
What? What are you talking about?
You were on the roof, right? With both Rin and Emmy, no less. You Casanova, you.
We just had lunch, that's all. Misha bursts into laughter, drawing the attention of several of my classmates.
Ahaha, you're so adorable when you blush like that, He-chan.
She gives me a conspiratory wink.
Don't worry, your secret's safe with me.
There's no secret.
Oh?
Misha seems disappointed and then brightens up a bit.
Time will tell.
I don't know what the hell she's talking about, but blessedly, our teacher comes in and class starts. Another day of class has finally dragged itself to a close. Unexpectedly, I managed to stay awake for the whole day. I'm sure that counts as a miracle. My legs seem unwilling to stand up for a moment. I guess the run took a lot out of me. I head down the hallway and make my way to my room. I sit down and half-heartedly chip away at my homework for a while, feeling like a vulture picking at a particularly unsavory carcass. It knows this is what it eats, but it's not sure what. It knows this is what it eats, but it's not sure that it shouldn't be ordering takeout instead. Huh. I don't think I can do this, but it's important to get my work done. Now, let's see. What was I supposed to be looking over again? I know it's a losing battle, but I fight it anyway. Halfway through my math homework, I put my pencil down. This isn't working. I need a distraction. Unfortunately, my options for distractions are rather slim. I'm not in the mood to read right now. Kenji is unusually out of his room at the moment. If I go to the student council room, I'll end up doing work for those two. And heaven only knows where everyone else is, except for... Well, I suppose that's an option. I grab my shoes and head for the track. Emmy is probably down there. Track practice is just ending as I arrive at the track. The sun's beginning to dip low in the sky. Has it really gotten that late already?
What are you doing down here, Hisao? Come to spy on me, have you?
I give a shrug. To be honest, I'm not sure why I'm down here. I didn't have anything better to do. I figure that sounds about right. At the moment, Emmy's the only person I can think of who I could visit.
Well, I'm your last resort, am I? Nobody cool around, so I'll just go see Emmy. Is that what you thought?
She actually looks angry. A chance for some teasing of my own presence presents itself. Actually, yeah, I guess you are. Emmy pouts, widening her eyes to give the maximum amount of puppy dog resemblance. Kidding, I was kidding.
So you are down here to stalk me.
Wait, what? That's not what I meant. Why would I stalk you anyway? It's not like you require stalking. I just know where you are at all times. If you're not a sleeper in class, you're down here, right? Emmy laughs at this comment.
Well, you're not all wrong, I suppose. But you forgot about eating. I do that too, you know.
I nod, conceding the point.
Plus, I hang out with Rin sometimes too, so really I might take some effort to stalk.
What do you two do together anyway? You don't seem to have a lot in common. She puts her hands on her hips and assumes a superior air.
That's what you think. I've got all kinds of hidden hobbies, you know. I'm not just a runner. I'm a runner with feelings.
Oh, really? Like what? Emmy puts her head to one side as if she's trying to remember what it is she does in her free time.
Well, Rin and I go out shopping sometimes.
I guess that makes sense. Emmy's a girl after all. But Rin? Well, Rin has to buy art supplies. Rin comes with you?
We usually swing by the art supply store. See? Plus, she likes the music store that sells all kinds of weird sounding stuff. She says it helps focus her.
That makes a little more sense. I see. Any other hidden hobbies? Emmy wags a finger at me.
Now, why would I go and reveal all my dark secrets to you? We hardly know one another.
Somehow I think that's all that Emmy has in the way of hobbies. Still, I don't think my question's been answered. Even if you do have a few hobbies, I still don't see why you hang out with Rin so much. I mean, she's kind of weird, isn't she?
Quit being mean to Rin. You fed her oranges, you bitch.
This comment causes Emmy to laugh loudly.
Ha, that's an understatement of the year.
So why? I mean, you're a lot better at conversation and stuff, so I figure you'd hang out with a lot of people. But I think I've only ever seen you with Rin. Emmy seems unusually defensive.
Hey, I hang out with plenty of people that aren't Rin. You just don't see me doing it because I'm not in your classes.
Okay, but that still doesn't explain why you hang out with Rin. Why do you care? This is so rude. Why are you talking to Rin? Emmy, you're not allowed to talk to Rin anymore. Blah, blah. I'm not even sure why I want to know this. I'm not even sure why you're asking. I guess it is because lunch was so strange. Emmy shrugs after looking for a moment very Rin-ish.
It's because we have similar outlooks.
If you were to ask me the least likely answer to my question, that would be it. What do you mean?
It's like, okay, Rin paints and stuff, right?
Yes. I'm not sure where this is going. I know where it's going.
Well, I run.
And?
And that's why we're similar.
You lost me. Emmy frowns as if trying to figure out her answer.
Well, maybe it's that we do things for the same reasons.
Huh?
You know, we follow our passions.
So you're passionate about running and Rin's passionate about art? Is that it?
Well, sort of. Let me think. Well, Rin explained it to me once, but I don't know how much of it I followed.
Not surprising. I think any explanation from Rin would probably confuse anyone.
She says we both chase after an extreme. Like, she's always trying to find a new way to show a particular feeling or something. And I run because of the feeling I get from it. And since we don't allow ourselves to be slowed down by anything, we make a connection based on that.
What do you mean slowed down by anything? Emmy looks surprised and points to her legs.
Bitch, I don't have fucking legs. What are you talking about? What do you mean? You're so obtuse. You're a dumbass. You know, because I'm a runner and Rin's a painter even without arms. So we respect each other's determination. That's why we hang out. I think.
Well, maybe you just like each other. Why do you have to have a reason to hang out with somebody? Hisao, why did you even ask this question? You're so rude. Well, I'm not sure that made any sense to me, but from Emmy's sheepish expression, she's not sure about it either.
Honestly, it's not something I think about much. You know, I don't really psychoanalyze every single fucking person I talk to, Hisao. Jesus Christ. We just get along. I think that's really all that matters.
I suppose she's got a point there. Another question strikes me, and since I've got nothing better to do, I ask it. So, what got you so into running anyway?
Oh, I've been running since I was really little. My dad was a runner, and so as soon as I could walk, he started teaching me how to run. It was our father-daughter thing, you know? Our own mutual hobby.
She got sad. I don't like that. A shadow crosses her face, and I'm shocked to see her looking sad. Well, her dad's dead, confirmed. Did something happen between them? Yeah, he left this realm of existence.
Man, I don't have a lot of time left. Sorry, but I've got to get a few more laps in before I go see the nurse.
She races off around the track, hair streaming in the wind. It seems to me she's going a lot faster than she was this morning. Well, she has to slow down for you, and she's also all, warmed up by now since she just had the track meet. As she rounds the track, I catch a glimpse of her face. It's much the same as it was this morning, but her eyes seem to have taken on a harder edge. I guess she's right. I don't really know much about her. I watch her run for a little while and then stand up to go back to my room.
Hey!
She spots me leaving and waves to catch my attention.
Don't forget, same time tomorrow morning. Got it?
Got it. I head back to my room, Homework beckons.
Boo, homework, boo.
I can't sleep. My body's tired, but my mind is kept awake, staring at the ceiling in the hollow darkness of my room. I grasp desperately for a thread of thought, hoping that I can run my brain into the ground. All I can think of is how I can't think of anything. This is not productive at all. I wonder if this is a side effect of my medication, though it seems odd for it to take so long to show up. Then again, maybe I'm just not as used to my new surroundings as I'd like to think. I don't know. For whatever reason, I'm awake and I shouldn't be. This is ridiculous. I think he said at some point his medication does have problems with sleeping. Ignoring my body's stiffness, I get out of bed and look at my clock. 4 in the morning. Last I checked it was only 1, so maybe I slept a little. I don't know.
I hate that. I hate that.
When you're like, I haven't slept, and you look and it's been like a little bit of hours, but then you're like, that's not shit. This is not enough. I just want to sleep. I throw on some clothes and head out of my room. A walk might do me some good. I'm surprised at how chill the air is compared to the relative warmth of the day. I can almost see my breath as I wander the campus, waiting for the sun to come up or for me to fall asleep. At this point, either option works for me. I find myself at the track where, for the first time, Emmy's not out running. No, Emmy's not running at 4 in the morning? Well, that's crazy. I suppose that makes sense. It's too early even for her. The bleacher seats are cold, but at this point I welcome the sensation. The sun is starting to show its face over the horizon, and I know with an awful certainty that I'll get no more sleep tonight. The sun's steadily strengthening rays start to warm me up, and I watch the dew on the ground begin to steam slightly. My mind calms down a little. Just falling asleep on the bleachers. Someone's shaking me.
Hey, wake up!
Huh? What? I guess I fell asleep after all.
What are you doing out here? You're going to catch a cold or something.
I rub my eyes and am confronted by Emmy, who bends over me with a worried expression. Yeah, you were just sleeping on the bleachers. Of course she's worried. Is Hisao extra dumb in this route, or is he just always dumb toward the beginning and I've just forgotten? I'm still a little groggy, so my response comes out in a mumble. Couldn't sleep. Watch the sun come up.
Sounds like something Rin would say.
I shrug, feeling the stiffness that comes with sleeping on a bench for a few hours. Is it? I wouldn't know. Emmy grins a little at my somewhat cranky response.
So couldn't sleep, eh? Obviously we need to run you harder today.
Even though I've only known her for about a week, this seems a very Emmy-ish response to the problem. Hey, my body was plenty exhausted after yesterday. My mind was just racing, that's all.
I don't see the difference. If you run hard enough, your brain will get tired too.
I'm seriously questioning the wisdom of doing this first thing in the morning. I don't know if my grades will be able to handle me tiring my brain out like that. Emmy pulls me up from the bleachers, with surprising strength for someone her size.
Now come on, Hisao. We've got work to do.
I actually know if I'm up. I actually don't actually know if I'm up to this today, to be honest. I mean, I obviously didn't get much sleep, and what sleep I got was on the bleachers. I don't know. Should I really be running? Emmy glares at me. Good heavens.
What are you talking about? Of course you should be running. What else would you do with your life? How else do you expect to work out the kinks? You've been sleeping on the bleachers for heaven's sakes. The best way to get that soreness out is to run around a little. Now stop hiding in the bleachers and get down here.
There's no arguing that. I'm pretty sure she'd kill me if I didn't do as she said. I don't think she can. She's like 3 feet tall. I get to my feet and hop down to the track. The sun is warming things up rather nicely, I think. Emmy and I begin to stretch out, and I find myself once again hard-pressed not to stare. If this is how I have to wake up every day, I might be able to get used to this.
You know, Hisao, it's not polite to stare.
I wasn't staring, I swear. Emmy raises an eyebrow and considers me for a minute, as if evaluating my response. There's a brief moment where I'm afraid for my life. But then she smiles and laughs, shaking her head slowly.
Honestly, you didn't have to deny it so strenuously.
In response, I clap my hands together and go for a change of subject. So, that's enough stretching, right? Emmy gives a casual shrug.
Do you feel stretched? That's really how you tell.
Well, I do feel up to the run, if that's what she means. Yeah, I feel ready to go.
Same as yesterday, okay? We'll just run a mile at a steady pace. Don't worry about going really fast, just worry about keeping the pace. Got it?
You're the boss. Emmy grins again, and we take off around the track. I think I'm going to die. We're not even done with the first lap, and my legs are on fire. My breath is coming in ragged gasps. I can feel sweat pouring down my brow, and we've only just now rounded the second turn.
Come on, Hisao, you've got 3 more laps to go.
I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. I think I might hurl. Somehow we're on the second lap. Emmy's not even sweating. How can she do this so effortlessly? Well, she's been doing it a lot longer than you. For some reason, I'm still moving. She's like a machine. Third lap. What happened to the second?
Almost there, Hisao.
Liar. We've got another 2. Nothing to be done. I can't do this. Emmy whirls around and begins running backwards. Her face is a mask of anger that surprises me.
Never say that.
Oops.
If you say that, you'll already have lost. Keep moving. If you're alive, you can keep moving, damn it.
Whoa, language. We're on the 4th lap now. She really seems to want me to keep going. Legs move. 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 They feel so sluggish. I'm in mud or molasses or tar. I can't go on. I'll go on.
Final stretch, Hisao. Give it all you got.
I pump my legs as fast as they'll go. They keep refusing to obey my commands. Somehow I keep moving. Somehow I finish.
That's it, Hisao. I knew you had it in you.
The anger Emmy showed a lap ago is gone, replaced with pride. She's positively radiant, like she just won a gold medal or something. I stagger to a stop and fall to my hands and knees, gasping for air. My heart is pounding far harder than it has in a long time. Oh, I'm dead. I don't think it's done this time. Oh, God. Please slow down, heart. Just slow down. Stop racing. I cough and for some reason feel a grin crossing my face. So this is how I die, huh? Trying to stay healthy. How ironic. I'm all ready to give up right there. But then I feel my heart slow down. 2 hands grab around my arms and tug upwards. I look up and see Emmy standing over me with a mixture of delight and worry.
On your feet. Come on, you'll never catch your breath that way.
Bro, he almost had a heart attack. It ain't got nothing to do with catching breath. Somehow I manage to stand. I try to raise my arms above my head, but they feel like lead. I start to walk around the track while Emmy keeps close to me, like she's afraid I'll fall over or something, as she should be. She may not be far off. I feel terrible to say so. Emmy laughs.
But you finished, didn't you? You said you couldn't, but you did. Isn't that worth it?
I'm not sure, and I really don't have the breath to say so. And that small grin I felt on my face earlier hasn't left. So what if my heart's weak? I still survived this morning. Maybe I'll survive tomorrow too. Maybe not. Who knows? Rip. Carpe the diems and whatever. YOLO. As soon as it becomes apparent that I'm not going to suddenly keel over, Emmy takes off on her sprints. I don't know how the hell she can manage to sprint after running a mile, but I guess she's in much better shape than me. Once again, as I walk around the track, I can't help watching Emmy sprint. It's weird, but she's like a different person when she's pushing herself. Last time I noticed her eyes, but this time it's her mouth that catches my attention. Uh-oh. If you be staring at people's mouth, that means you're down bad. That's a fact. She's not wearing her normal grin. She's still smiling, but there's a tightness to it. It's almost grim, like she's fighting a losing battle but doesn't care. She seems to be running harder like she did yesterday. Sweat has started to pour down her face, but she keeps going. Her mouth finally opens as she can no longer get enough air through her nose. As she passes me once more, legs pumping, arms swinging in time, and her lips slightly parted, she looks beautiful, all sweaty and nasty. After we've both taken some laps around track to cool down, Emmy changes back to her usual self. The transformation I saw in her is gone.
Not bad today, Hisao.
There's almost admiration in her voice. What do you mean? I would have stopped if you hadn't yelled at me.
So?
Emmy colors a little, seemingly embarrassed about her outburst.
Sorry about that. I just can't stand to see people give up. Especially about something like this. Saying I can't go on is silly when you're obviously going on without while you're saying it. That's what it's all about.
What? Saying silly things? Emmy sticks her tongue out at me.
Idiot, I mean showing that you're alive.
Showing I'm alive, huh? I didn't know it had to be so painful. Living is pain. Death is easy. Living is hard. But it does feel pretty good despite that.
Besides, this is one of the hardest days.
Why? What do you mean?
Whenever you start a workout, it's difficult the first day, really hard the second day, and then the third day is easier. You'll still get days that are really hard, but they'll pop up less and less.
So this will eventually get really easy, huh?
Yeah, of course. But then you have to increase the difficulty or you'll never get ahead. You'll just get complacent and you'll lose a sense of accomplishment.
So I'll have to run more than just 4 laps, huh?
Yep. Better not for a while. You'll have to be careful, you know.
A thought strikes Emmy, and her face lights up.
Got it?
Got what?
You can come with me to see the nurse. That way you won't fall over dead or anything.
How charming. When?
Right now, of course. You'll need a shower and everything, right? We don't have much time then.
Grabbing my hand, she's off, pulling me along with her. Wait, why are we seeing the nurse? It doesn't seem like that's necessary. My goodness. But you're in a hurry today, aren't you, Emmy? I have no idea how we got into the nurse's office so fast, but here we are. The nurse grins at Emmy and seems to completely ignore me. You've got plenty of time to take a shower and get to class, you know. There's no need to run through the halls like that. I could hear you coming a mile away. Somehow it doesn't seem like he's actually scolding Emmy at all. It's like this is a sort of routine between the two of them. Emmy does a passable imitation of remorse.
I'm sorry, I won't ever do it again, except for tomorrow when I will definitely do it.
The nurse and Emmy both laugh at some private joke. Suddenly it seems that he notices me. Hello, Hisao. What brings you here? Well,
Hisao has officially joined me on my morning runs.
I start to explain, but Emmy cuts me off. How dare you speak before me, wench?
You speak when you are spoken to. I thought he might need to visit you so that he doesn't die or anything.
The nurse raises his eyebrow in mock horror. Yes, that would certainly put me out of a job fast, wouldn't it? Well then, Hisao, let's have a look at you. Lift up your shirt, would you? In front of the woman? I can't. That's so lewd. I'm suddenly very conscious of the fact that Emmy's in the room with me and blush in spite of myself. The nurse seems to sense my discomfort, but it only seems to amuse him. A bit shy, are we? Don't call me out in front of everyone. He makes an apologetic bow to Emmy. Sorry, Emmy, I tried to get you a free show, but it doesn't seem to have worked. Emmy stiffens slightly and fires a look of annoyance at him.
You're an asshole.
Emmy bows to me apologetically.
I'll wait outside, okay, Hisao?
I begin to stammer that it's not really a big deal. She doesn't have to leave, but she is already out the door, and the nurse is laughing as he watches her go. Still got it, ha. I don't follow. He laughs again, like he's in on some joke that's over my head. I can still get her flustered. It's a competition of sorts we've had going on for a while now. That sounds incredibly sinister to me, and it seems as if the nurse realizes that too. That sounded a lot worse than it actually is, come to think of it. I wasn't going to say anything, but I was thinking it. No, you're right. I should fill you in so that you don't get the wrong idea. I'm actually relatively new here, you see. I got hired on same year Emmy started going here. Before that, I worked with Emmy during her initial rehab following her incident. Hold on, what? We had an we had to amputate her legs after a really nasty car wreck. It nearly killed her and succeeded. He shuts up abruptly. I blink at receiving this unexpected piece of news. Well, that's not my place to say. Anyway, we've known each other for quite a while. So, we have a slightly more familiar relationship than is strictly professional. He seems embarrassed, like he's done something stupid. I guess he's really worried about that. I wave a hand to let him know it's not a big deal. Don't worry, sir. I promise I promise I'm going to be discreet. I had been wondering about what caused Emmy to lose her legs, and that was one of the scenarios I thought of. There were only so many ways that could have happened, but actually hearing about the facts is still a little shocking. Well, thanks. You're a good kid, Hisao. I can see why Emmy became friends with you. She's quite indomitable, you know. What do you mean? Yeah, she's like the snowman, the indomitable snowman. You didn't see her learning to walk. She'd go for so much longer than the others in the hospital. She refused to quit. Normally it takes years to get to a point where you can even think about running again. Emmy did it all in about a year. She seems almost proud of her. He almost seems proud of her, like a father who watches his daughter win a competition or something. Hell, she'd probably have done it faster if not for the fact that we wouldn't let her. Wouldn't let her, why not? Because she'd go for so long that her legs would start bleeding where they met her prosthetics. It's a real concern. It's why she comes by every day after she runs. To say nothing of the risk of infection on her if her legs get cut up and her prosthetics are dirty. But enough about that. If we don't get you on your way soon, Emmy will think we're up to something. We are up to something. We're winking at each other. Wink, wink. As he says this, he gives a wink and begins checking my heartbeat. The stethoscope is way too cold. He really should have heated it up or something before he used it. I don't know if you're allowed to do that. After a few moments, he leans back, satisfied. Well, you sound pretty good to me, Hisao. You didn't have any chest pains while you were running, did you? No, not really. I had some trouble catching my breath, though, and my heart was racing by the end, too. Nurse frowns as I say this, but then shrugs. It's probably just because you're out of shape, but if you don't improve, then you should let me know, okay? Don't push yourself too much, and of course, if you have any chest pains, come to me immediately, right? I put my shirt back on, and the nurse leans out of the doorway to call Amy in.
What took you so long? I'm going to be late.
The nurse gives me a significant look. I was just seducing Hisao, that's all. You can't say that! You're an adult!
What? Come on. What have I told you about seducing my friends?
I'd expected Emmy to be shocked by this, but instead she seems merely annoyed, scolding the nurse as if he were a child stealing cookies. Meanwhile, I try hard not to blush at the nurse's innuendo. I'll try not to do it again, though I fear young Hisao may be lost to the female gender forever. Not freaking likely. Listen, I'm straight as a board, buddy. Don't you ever say that I like pee-pee again. Why aren't we saying anything? I didn't mean to say that out loud, but both the nurse and Emmy regard me for a moment before bursting into laughter again.
Told you he was funny, didn't I?
Huh, I guess Emmy does talk to the nurse about a lot of stuff. Well, Hisao, you should probably get moving. You still need a shower before class starts, don't you? Crap, he's got a point, and it looks like I've only got a half hour. Thanks for your time. I'll see you later, Emmy. I dash out the door as the nurse begins to remove Emmy's prosthetics. As I head down the hallway, I can just barely hear his voice drifting after me. Emmy, you've got to be more careful. Uh-oh. I make it back to my room and shower in record time. It occurs to me that I've already been up 4 hours and class hasn't even started yet. This is going to be a really, really long day. I hope I don't fall asleep in class.
Well, okay. Ah, sleepy. Well, that was very long. the festival was so short that I thought that the next section would be short, but we have 3 days in one, and it went pretty good. It's going pretty normal, I guess. I feel like so far Emmy's route seems to be normal. Like there's no I guess there is some. She's got like kind of like an obsessive compulsive disorder almost, and probably like some PTSD. I really probably shouldn't be psychoanalyzing the fictional characters with with serious mental illnesses and physical disabilities. That's probably not cool, but it's interesting to think about. So clearly, she got into a car wreck. She lost her leggies and her dad, and she's running because it's something that her dad really liked to do with her. So that's part of it. And then also, she seems to really she has the need and desire to prove people wrong by doing things that they say that she can't do. And yeah, I like Emmy so far, but it's nothing nothing crazy. And we will I don't know where this is placing, but we'll see what's up in the next video.